A hot family making sure the Cold War doesn't heat up. When Germany was divided into the Western capitalist bloc and the Eastern communist bloc, and peace between the two neighbours was as fragile as the current state of cryptocurrency, amongst this instability the region cried for a spy or a whole espionage agency to make sure escalation was kept at bay. And when it comes to this business of spying and conspiring, collecting intel and aborting actual war, nobody does it better than the show's main protagonist, Lloyd. And Lloyd's new critical mission is the story Spy Family tells. Hi, and welcome to Seriously Anime, where I dive into an animated series before I come back here to describe to you what I think of it, focusing on 4 entries: the premise, the world building, the character development, and the themes the show explores. At the end, I enlist the series' strengths and weaknesses and try to predict whom the show is for. The premise. The anime's premise is original. A highly skillful spy is tasked with the top priority mission that requires him to quickly put together a family in order to infiltrate high-profile politicians in a circle. The urgency to swiftly assemble a family pairs him with a deadly and socially awkward assassin who poses as a city hall clerk and a little girl who has a secret talent nobody knows about. She is a telepath. She can hear people's thoughts. To get a kid, as you would do if you wanted to, he goes to the orphanage and grabs Anya. Finding a wife is a little more difficult. He stumbles on none other than a top-tier assassin who's also struggling to drive society's eyes off her unusually lonesome life by getting a boyfriend or a husband. Lloyd meets Yor. They exchange a few words, agree that pretending to be in a relationship would benefit them both. They forge marriage documents and start to live together as a married couple. Every one of the family hides his or her secrets. Anya knows about all their secrets because she can hear their thoughts. She has access to almost as much information as us, the viewers. This is a fresh premise that creates the opportunity for a wonderful comedy of errors because there are different characters who have different motives. They have to think one thing and display another. The only character who has access to all the information must act according to it while appearing not to have it. There are a lot of comical scenes that make good use of this situation. Some scenes inside the Forger family's home make you feel like you're watching a play. The word building. Spy Family doesn't break any grounds in world building, to say the least. Very minimal effort is done in that compartment. The show is clearly set in Germany after the Second World War during what was called the Division of Germany. It's not called Germany in the anime, but everything indicates that it is. So historically, the Berlin Wall separated the Western Bloc from the Eastern Bloc. The Western Bloc was capitalist and under the influence of the USA, and the Eastern Bloc was communist and under the influence of the Soviet Union. The two blocs reflected the miniature of the tension that was pushing to superpowers to the brink of total war. Not much is done in the show to flesh out that historical moment. You could argue that it would have been at odds with the show's goofiness, but I don't think it's necessarily the case. You can do some serious world building all in a light-hearted tone. Instead, the series relies on what viewers already know about the division of Germany. It's assumed that viewers would fill in the gaps with what they already know. Other than that, the show does use names to communicate information. For example, we know that Lloyd works for the West. It's not called Western Germany, it's called Westalis. Westalis, the West, and it's spying on Ostania. Ostania, the East. The lifestyle in Westalis is capitalist. Society is clearly stratified. People are demarcated by the social class they belong to and the money they have. Entrance to prestigious schools is very selective. Character development. The character development in the show is nothing stellar, and it's the type of anime that Spy Family wants to be, that discards any complex character development. The show doesn't want to be a realistic show where everything makes perfect sense. It's a light-hearted comedy at its core, but that said, the characters evolve and do act according to their respective personalities. For instance, Yor, the assassin newly designated mom, does tend to always think of solutions that entail killing or dismembering people, even when she's faced with the most mundane everyday problems or when she's helping Anya do her homework. Yor, who sucks at cooking, excels at tidying up. After all, she's an assassin, and leaving the assassination scene clean is part of her skill set, which she carries over to her life as a wife and mother. Lloyd, the highly skilled spy, has always been in control of his missions because the missions hinged entirely on his decisions and his work. He's faced with a completely new situation that involves a kid, and this stresses him because there is a whole lot he can't control and he's not accustomed to that. He also discovers the challenges of being a parent. The themes. Spy Family is a feel-good show. You feel relaxed and serene while watching it, and one of the reasons that allows it to have this effect is how it treats a major theme in the show, and it's no surprise as it's included in the show's title. It is the theme of the family, and somebody tell Vin Diesel not to get excited. The Forgers have a family we all want to have, but can only fantasize about, yet this family we love is the opposite to the socially agreed upon model of what a family should be. The two spouses know nothing real about each other, they haven't dated for an eternity, and the kid is adopted. The show says that a nice wholesome family is not one where every member of the family is an open book that has no secrets. It's okay to have secrets. The show reverses many beliefs about what a family is or should be. The Forgers have secrets. Lloyd and Yor didn't have to date for an eternity before marriage, and it is Lloyd who takes care of cooking. Now, what makes the Forger family so wholesome? It is the devotion everyone shows for the family. Each one of the three members goes outside their comfort zone for the other members. Little Anya does everything she can to help Lloyd succeed in his mission, sometimes going against her naturally reserved personality. Lloyd goes out of his comfort zone on many occasions to help Anya or to learn some parenting. Yor battles with the awkwardness to be a good wife to Lloyd and a good mother to Anya. Another theme is the parody of the tropes usually found in a fiction of espionage, like the relationship between the spy and the handler, and the facial disguise that spies use to change their appearance. There is even a show about spies within the actual show which Anya loves. Now, the anime's strengths and weaknesses. Let's start with the strengths. Spy Family does many things well. It's a wholesome experience. It makes you feel good. Watching the events unfold in a colourfully warm rendition of divided Germany is almost therapeutic. The show interests you in the protagonists thanks to its great pilot, and then serves you comedy, awkward moments from the characters' daily lives that we happily spy on, and heartwarming slices of their lives. Another strong point of the show is the moe element, which refers to a certain type of bond that a character creates with the viewer, and that makes the viewer care for that character, and more importantly, want to protect it. Hence, characters that are moe are vulnerable, nice, and usually goofy, which facilitates the feeling of wanting to protect them. In Spy Family, the character that can be described as moe is obviously Anya, and while many shows rely excessively on the moe factor for their success, Spy Family does not. The show doesn't revolve around that single element, which is a testament to its strength. Spy Family blends well comedy, slice of life, romance, and season them with a pinch of blood and violence without apologizing for it, and it works. All these elements make the show a great short series to initiate somebody into anime, and I think many people will look back at this and say, this is the show that made me discover the wonderful medium of storytelling that is anime. The anime's weaknesses. The show doesn't flesh out the world it's setting. It relies too much on what the viewers must know about divided Germany, the Western Bloc and the Eastern Bloc. Certain decisions and turns of events don't make enormous sense. It may kick you out of immersion. But again, this is not the type of shows that pulls you in to fully immerse yourself in it. So whom is this show for? The show is for you if what you want is a light-hearted story that keeps you interested while watching. It'll make you smile at your screen, and hopefully there won't be anybody around to see how ridiculous you'd look. It is not for you if what you're looking for is that show that'll propel you in a full-scale experience, the one that keeps you thinking about it even when you're not watching it. I'd love to read your thoughts on the show in the comments section, and until we meet again for the discussion of another anime, sayonara.